My name is Trujillo. I'm a fine art painter, and I'm coming to you from my art studio to share one of my, messages, one of my videos regarding experiences and things that have helped me in my career and my business as an artist. And this one is about, okay, people won't remember what you said, how you thought, how you view things. They'll remember what you did, how you made them feel, what impact it's in the action you had. Okay, many of us tend to think that, and this is certainly a lot of the creative type, right? The artists, the painters, sculptors, photographers. We tend to think, oh, I won't move forward with that because I'm not good enough, or I have the right artwork, but I'm not going to visit that gallery because that gallery it's not for my type of artwork, so I'm just going to completely remove it out of my list. I don't know. This, you don't know how much it paralyzes you. You don't know how much this stops you from moving forward. I know this might be painful to hear for some. I know it was painful to hear for me at some point in my career. But you are people short. And you don't know how bad you are hurting yourself every time you say you're not ready for something. You can't move forward with that. Let's give an example with me. I'm a painter. I created some paintings, right? And then I said to myself, well, not even there. Let's not even take it as far as that. I wouldn't create a painting because the lighting was wrong. I wanted to create this lighting for this painting, or the colors were off. I needed to buy these other colors. Or the canvas wasn't the size that I needed it to be, the specific size, or whatever. These are all bumps in the road that many times they're not even bumps, that just stop you completely. There's so many of them that it almost looks like you can't even move. Let's say you're a photographer and you say, "Oh, I'm not gonna go take that photograph unless I find the right place, the right setting." If it's not the Grand Canyon, my vision, then I won't do it. That's certainly great, if you have these goals or whatnot. Many times that's not what happens. What happens is that those things will stop you. You'll try to stop yourself. You don't know that you're doing this. No one really tells you that, and if they do, you hate them for it, because they're pointing at a big flaw, But this is what happens, And one of the big ones that I hear out there is, my work is not good enough, And you gotta ask yourself, to who, The reason why I started this video saying, we have this, nobody remembers you by how you thought, but what you did, it's because the creative type, everyone, but especially the creative type, tends to think, tends to have this fear. You only have two emotions in life. You only have love or fear. And if you're not feeling love, you're feeling fear. And the creative type tends to have a lot of fear towards self-image, Sometimes we call it ego or whatever, but it's the fear of, what am I going to look like? Let's take, for example, this video. When I started doing this video, so I was like, oh, well, I don't know. Am I going to look stupid doing these videos or whatever? Who cares? To who? If I don't do this, I'm never going to get started. I can't wait till I have the right production, the right lighting, the HD, the blah, blah. I can't wait for that. If I wait for that, I'm never going to do it. And if I ever get to do it, I'll make 1 or 2 videos, and no one's really going to hear my message unless I go viral. See, this is one of the things that we don't think about. Nobody teaches us these things. You have to find out. And if they do, they do teach them. It's usually people with that are not artists, or they're salespeople. You have to find them elsewhere in other industries, because they tend to not have these fears as artists, or creatives do. We tend to think, us creatives tend to think, oh, if I put out this video, I'm going to look stupid. Okay. So what? If I put out this video, it might not have the right information. I want it to look majestic so that people can think, oh, look, there is the next Van Gogh or whatever. It's cruel to say, or for some people, it's very cruel to hear this, but I'm going to say it. Dude, no one really knows you. Very few people do. Your video is probably going to be seen by your grandma and your mom and your relatives, you know? Unless you go viral because your hair caught on fire or something, you know, spontaneous combustion, so I don't know. But to who, you know? To who are you going to look stupid? You got to get started. So this is my message to you. You know, many of us have gone to galleries, and I always hear this from artists. I mean, I had artist friends, and they, you know, we went out for a drink or whatever, and everyone is always ranting. You know, I would always hear this. Oh, I went to gallery such and such, you know, this high-end gallery, and I saw this piece for 10 or 50 grand or whatever, and oh my God, you know, I thought to myself, I could do that. It's my same skill level. I don't know why I'm not doing that. You know why you're not doing that? Because you're not. It's simple as that. There's nothing. There's no ifs or buts about it. You're not doing it because you're not. The person who did that probably said, let's go for it, you know, and landed that gallery. You know, the person who did that was probably an abstract painter and went and talked to the local frame shop and said, you know, put my work here. And then went and talked to the other gallery who does, I don't know, Western classic traditional landscapes. And the guy paints like Picasso, you know, and then the landscape gallery owner said, well, your work doesn't fit here. But the guy was probably, you know, strong enough to say, well, can you refer me to where? You know, something like that. I don't know, but he got started, you know. You're people short. Nobody teaches you this stuff. But this is the reality. You are people short. Of course you want the right audience, but you're not going to get the right audience for your stuff unless you just start getting people in general. Just start talking to people, and then that's going to lead you to your audience. But that's the next step. You don't start with the right audience. Nobody does that. I've never heard of anyone. I've never been read of anyone. If someone said that, I think they're either lying or they had a lucky shot. None of us, or not all of us, have that first lucky shot. You know, we got to go start talking to people. You want to talk to people in your church. You want to talk to people in your local, I don't know, art fair. You want to talk to people, to your friends and family. Why not? You know, go talk to them. Tell them, hey, you know, someone who owns a gallery, you know, whatever. You're going to look stupid to who? You know? You got to lose your face. You got to, no one's going to remember, oh yeah, that person was very convicted. Look, who cares? Look at Van Gogh. Oh wow, great art. Yeah, but poor guy suffered for, you know, his whole life. You don't want to be that guy. Yes, you want to be that famous, blah, 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 you know, but you don't want to be that guy. Is that what you're looking for? You're looking to create artwork so that you have a horrible life and then you're going to be remembered? You know, it doesn't make any sense to me. But anyways, this is what I'm sharing. I know it turned into a rant, but I hear it so much, you know. I'm not going to go there because I'm not ready. Dude, you're ready. Go for it. Jump. If you don't develop the ability to jump and not get stuck on the figuring, you're never going to achieve your goals. This is very true. And I'm not just saying this. Go anywhere and you will find this to be true. Anyone who has done any sort of success will tell you this. You have to just jump. And you're going to figure it out once you're in there. My name is Jose Trujillo. I'm a fine art painter. I hope you like this video. Thank you so much for watching.